This is a simulation of the speaking test of the International English Language Testing System taking place on Friday, 1st of September 2023. I'm Mohammad Hassan Jan, the practice examiner, and the candidate for today's mock session is Kimberly Blake. Good afternoon. Uh, my name is Mohammad Hassan Jan. What is your full name, please?
My full name is Kimberly Blake.
And what should I call you?
I go by Kimberly.
Okay. In the official IELTS speaking test, you may have to show your identification, but as this is just a simulation of that, it will not be needed right now. Now, in this first part of the test, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Do you work or study?
I do both. I particularly study as my main focus, but I also work.
Okay. What do you love most about your work?
Um, what I love most about my work is being able to interact with a variety of different people from different backgrounds and different ages, from different parts of the world.
Mhm. Okay. Let's talk about accommodation. Could you tell me about the kind of accommodation you live in?
Yes. So here in Arizona in the United States, I live in a typical house in near the place that I work and the place that I go to school.
Mhm. Does the place you live in have many amenities?
Oh yes, it has a few basic amenities. The typical like kitchen and backyard, front yard, restrooms, several living spaces. So I think it's about 6 bedrooms. So there's plenty of space. Um, yeah.
What do you like most about where you are living?
What I like most about where I'm living is the location to the main places that I go in the city. It's very close to my school and my work, which is the primary reason why I chose to live here.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to change about the place you live in?
If there were to be something that I was going to change, it might perhaps be the parking area. It is currently an uncovered parking area, so it does get quite hot. And I would like maybe a garage or some sort of covering just in case that it rains or it's very hot, and it will be protected from some of the weather.
Mhm. What kind of transportation do you prefer to use normally if you have to use?
My primary mode of transportation is my car, but I do use other modes of transportation when I can, but my car is the primary one.
All right. Thank you. Now I'm going to give you a topic and I would like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. And let me share my screen. Um, Please tell me if it's visible.
It's visible.
So here's the topic. I would like you to describe a traditional celebration day in your country, and you have 1 minute to think about it. Your 1 minute starts now.
Mm.
Okay, so your preparation time is up. Could you start speaking now, please?
Okay, yes, a traditional celebration here in my country, the United States, I would say is Independence Day, or the 4th of July, as it's also known. It is the day of independence that is celebrated for the United States, and getting its independence from Great Britain or the UK. And this is something that's probably one of our largest celebrations in the United States. And it's a time for families to come together. Often there will be cookouts or barbecues, as they're often known, eating some foods that are very American, such as hot dogs or hamburgers, corn on the cob, various foods similar to that, as well as lighting fireworks and just bringing people together. And sometimes the actual meaning behind this day, the 4th of July, is not um, as united as it's presumed to be. It's more of just a day to celebrate and be with family rather than to fully celebrate Independence Day itself. And I think that unity really brings it together. It's probably why it's important to me, so that I can be with family and enjoy time during the summer months in July. Would you like me to say more?
No, thank you. So you have been, uh, just a second. Let me stop sharing the screen. All right. So yes, you have been telling me about traditional celebration, and I'd like to ask you some more general questions related to this.
Okay.
Do you think schools adequately teach students about traditions and values?
I believe that most schools here in the United States do teach about those traditions and values. However, I think it does vary based upon um, a specific course or a specific class that is being taught to a student. I think overall, the mission of each school does encase values that they want students to encapsulate and keep with them. Some of those values, especially like respect, is a huge one in most schools and the schools that I have gone to. And we think about that often, but it's not necessarily something that we're that most classes or teachers actively talk about during lessons. It's more so integrated into um, the way that we interact in those classes.
Okay. Should schools have a more significant role in imparting traditional values to students? Why or why not?
Yes, I believe that they should have a more active role in doing that. That way, students are able to um, actively cooperate with each other, or according to like basic standards of living and decency all around the United States or in these school systems, so that collaboration will be united and people will be able to understand each other and where they're coming from through these values, whatever they may be. If it's the example that I gave as respect or not. I think it is something valuable because school is a place of learning and fostering those tools.
Are there any disadvantages to schools teaching traditional values as part of their curriculum?
I believe that there can be some disadvantages. Um, for example, um, it can be very monopolizing to force or to integrate students to thinking a certain way. So there should be some diversity in these classrooms and um, not all thinking or acting the same way. So there should be some sort of leverage in how much the schools are teaching students about values or how strictly those values are being taught. So that can be a slight disadvantage to that um, aspect.
What is your prediction about the roles that school will be playing in this particular aspect in the future?
I am not sure. Um, Thinking about this question is very good. um,
Yes, you can just share what you feel or what you uh, predict.
um, do you mind restating the question?
Yes, so the question is, what is your prediction about the role that schools might be playing in terms of imparting traditional values to students in the future?
Yes, I think that schools will continue to impart or help students to engage with specific values in becoming um, and growing their mindset and becoming adults and being a better person for themselves. And I think schools will continue on the path that they are already on. And if anything, engaging more actively with it, especially as times change with economic status here in the United States becoming a lot more hectic. So some schools might continue to um, engage with some humanity in those um, types of values that they're impeaching upon students.
All right. Thank you so much. That is the end of the test.